Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Deckaway again with Mobile Nations. Today I'm here with my full review of BLU's new phone, the S1. The S1 just came out today, the 31st of October, so it's a Halloween Day release phone. And one of the great new features about this device is it's BLU's very first CDMA compatible device. Now, when I say CDMA compatible, it's only with Sprint. It's not CDMA compatible with Verizon. So, sorry Verizon customers, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. But if you are with Sprint or you're thinking about moving to Sprint, this is a great device you can use on their carrier or with their MVNOs, Boost and Virgin Mobile. It'll work with all three of those. Plus, it's still GSM Unlocked, so you can use it with AT&T, T-Mobile, or any of the subsidiary MVNOs that run underneath them. So let's get into the specs real quick. Now, I'm going to tell you up front, although this lettering is really cool, it is incredibly difficult to try and get the light to catch this properly so I can show you on the box. So let's see if I can angle it. So it's got 5.2 inch HD curved glass display. It's got a 720 by 1280 resolution, which is rated at 282 pixels per inch, which is a slight bump up from the Vivo 8L. It's got a octa-core processor. It's the MediaTek 6750, which is clocked at 1.5 gigahertz. It's 64-bit, which is the latest and greatest in processor technology. It's got a 13 megapixel main camera with LED flash. It's got a 5 megapixel selfie camera. It has 16 gigs of internal storage, but you can expand that up to 64 gigabytes with an SD card. It has a 2800 milliamp battery. It's got a fingerprint sensor, which is on the front, which I happen to like. It's fantastic. It's got Android 7.0 Nougat straight out of the box, and it supports LTE speeds up to 300 megabits per second. And the shiny part down here, compatible with CDMA networks, Sprint, Boost Mobile, and of course Virgin Mobile. So that's what's on the outside of the box. So we'll take this and we'll scoot it off to the side and get into our hands-on review of the actual S1 device. Now, at face value here, with the 5.2 inch screen, it's actually built really well. It's balanced, it's got a nice feel to it. Now you can look at the device and see that it seems pretty well made. The quality is good. Got the buttons here on the right hand side, the power button and the volume rocker, which I particularly like because a lot of the newer phones that have their fancy function buttons or voice assistant buttons and all that stuff on the left hand side. So this makes everything nice, simple, easy, and clean. Now, taking a look on the outside, you can see it's got the downward firing speaker, which they only have on one side over here. The sound quality on it is good. It's not the loudest, it's not the best and the brightest, but for $129 on launch day release price, it's really good. It's particularly suited for watching videos, movies, things like that. If you're a strict audiophile and you want the latest and greatest in speaker technology, is probably not what you're looking for, but it does play music adequately. I got the camera here and the LED flash on the back, and then of course the other prominent feature on the front here is we've got the fingerprint sensor, which also doubles as a home button, and I've conveniently already linked my fingerprint with it. Now once you get into the device, it's very lightly skinned. I do like some of the decisions that BLU has done in modifying the Android user face just a little bit. Changing things up from the Vivo and the Vivo 8L series, where you could swipe up from the bottom to get into the quick settings. Well, they changed that back to the more traditional style, where you swipe down from the top. So one swipe down for notifications, and then your few quick options there. And then for the full quick settings menu, you swipe down again, and then you can go into regular settings here. But I will show you one thing. They did bring the app drawer back, which I'm super happy about. I do like, there are pros and cons to both sides. It's nice having everything out on the screen and you can organize it in the way that you want. But it's also nice having the app drawer so you can go with a more simplistic approach. Now, there's a few things that I installed. You can see I've got Alto here, I got Boom Beach, and I got Super Mario Run, just so I could test out some of the top line speed and the functionality of the phone to see how well it plays games, because let's be honest, that's important to me, and I'm sure it's important to some of y'all as well. So it does actually handle all three of these very well. I was surprised when I fired Super Mario Run up because it runs really well. Actually, I'll fire it up real quick so you can have a look at it. There's the Nintendo logo. Turn the volume up. But as you can see, so far so good. It runs pretty well. And I'll just click on here and get into the game, and you can see how smooth that it runs. Actually, I was really impressed with how smooth it runs. Of course, it does take a lot of steps to get there. And it certainly isn't an advertisement for Super Mario Run, because I'm not a big fan that you have to pay for it. But as you can see, it's actually really smooth and works really well. So we'll go ahead and get out of that. But one thing I want to highlight though is they did make a decision, well, Blue did, to take it down to 2 gigabytes of RAM, which I wasn't particularly crazy about, because when it comes to multitasking and running a lot of apps at the same time, you really want to have at least 3 gigabytes of RAM, because the operating system itself takes up about 1 gig. But whenever it came to choosing a processor to put in here, and they kind of went for a mix between the 2 Vivo series, because the Vivo 8 has the P10 Helio that's clocked at 2 gigahertz, and then they've got the MediaTek 6753 on the Vivo 8L that's clocked at 1.3 gigahertz. And this one, they went ahead and they got the 6750 and bumped it up to 1.5 gigahertz. So it really helps balance out the power versus the memory ratio. So you're not really missing out on too terribly much. I thought it was going to affect the performance of the phone, but it really didn't. So the only thing you're really going to notice is if you try and load too many apps or too many things at once, it will start to slow the phone down a little bit, just because it doesn't have the memory to load everything all at once. One other thing I want to look at is the camera here. And they changed things up a little bit with the camera interface. And like with the Vivo 8 and the Vivo 8L series, they had the little menu button up here that you could touch that would give you all your different options. This turns on panorama mode, so you can turn that on and off. This over here goes back to normal mode. You can see that it has an HDR option, which is nice. You got your flash, and then you can flip it around there. Now, one thing I wish they would have kept that I liked on the Vivo series is you could swipe up or swipe down, either or, and it would flip from normal mode to selfie mode and flip between the 2 cameras. Well, it doesn't do that anymore, so if you want to do that, then you have to push the little flip around button right there. Of course, you've got your exposure and your video buttons. So the camera suite is a little bit limited on the S1 versus all the benefits that you get with the Vivo series devices. But you have to remember, the Vivo series is the flagship tier series that Blue has for their devices. So whenever you talk about a more mid-range entry-level phone like the S1, you're not going to get all the same bells and whistles, but you're also only paying $129 if you get it on sale, or you're paying $179 for the full MSRP, which still isn't bad. I've used some other comparable devices like the Motorola, the E-Series, and things like that, and I think this is a better quality phone. Now, all around, it's functioned well. With the 2800 milliamp battery life, it is a little less than what we've been used to here lately with the Vivo series. It spoiled us with the 4000 milliamp battery. You're really not going to find a whole lot of that else out there in the phone world. But 2800 milliamps with a fuel efficient 1.5 gigahertz octa-core processor and 2 gigs of RAM paired with a 720p resolution, it'll last all day long. Now, you can't sit there and watch videos all day long on YouTube and expect it to last all day, but if you use mixed usage, you do normal texting, web browsing, screen on time not longer than probably 3.5-4 hours a day, then you should have no problem with it. I haven't had any issues with it myself. Anyway, that's about all I have for the review on the phone. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments section. I like to try and get back to y'all as quickly as I can so I can give you the information that you need to make the decision on whether this is the phone for you. So ask questions, ask them often. I'll get to them as soon as I can. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and thank you for tuning in. Have a good day.